You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, and just a little correction earlier. I said $6 million, $10, $3 million, $6 million. No, it's $3 million, 3.6, 10, $9 million, really. And that's the error that someone is seeking forgiveness, and I can hear in the voices of many Ghanaians that no, shall not be forgiveness for that. Now, before we even get to the main issues that we are going to discuss, we'll just spend let's say the first 5 minutes or so to say some prayer for the people, the French people, and what they are going through this morning. So start with you. First of all, let me introduce my guest. I was proceeding thinking that I already done that. I haven't. Abdul Malik Kubako. He is editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. He's a regular panelist here on the show. Rodaling Imorayana is a leading member of the Convention People's Party, CPP. Abraham Amaliba is lawyer and with the NDC's legal team and is an aspiring parliamentary candidate. Kweku Ajuman Menu is MP, Doma Central, and Chairman, Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. We hope he will help us deal with the corruption issues that will feature prominently on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good. So I start with you. What do you make of what is happening right now, the terror? And we are just learning that ISIS is claiming responsibility.
Good morning, Ghana. Our sympathies, first of all, to the French people. It's really sad that we should wake up this morning to hear such disgusting news. The major question that everyone keeps asking is why? So should a country that has an open border policy, suffer such devastating news? And without any discrimination, because it was like it just went off, and we don't even know the nationalities of those who died. It's not just French nationals, it cuts across. So for me this morning, I think it's time for us to sit back and start thinking and strategizing as to how we can deal with this ISIS situation, because it can happen to us where we are sitting right now, since we've had a few of our people joining them. 1 or 2 or 3 people are supposed to have joined. So I guess we need to all be up and doing. And once again, our sympathies to the French government and the people of France and all other nationals who lost their lives.
Abraham.
Yes.
I'm sure you've been watching the footages on CNN or other international wires and how it's been looking. Very, very terrible.
Sure. When you consider the fact that our president just left France, I think Thursday night, and this thing happened, it's a clear indication that humanity must come together to fight these heartless people. Again, I think yesterday I heard David Cameron rather announce that they had, in a drone, killed the leader of ISIS. And just to wake up, thinking that maybe they have been dealt a heavy blow, just to wake up to hear that this has happened. It means that ISIS is not an individual. ISIS is an ideology. And the better we agree to that and begin to tackle it, it will be good for the world. But my heart goes to those who lost their loved ones.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Let us express sympathies and condolences to the French people, or those who live in Paris. I've always thought that ISIS was a bit far away from us, the distance. And this has demonstrated clearly that it can be anywhere. And I just wouldn't know what the rest of the world will be doing to try to arrest this situation. It's been happening in major cities. It has happened in Africa.
In France, presently they've shut their borders, and I understand that this has not happened since World War II.
Right, which is quite unfortunate, and it's affecting everybody. So the world must come together and fight ISIS or ISIL, whatever they call it, with a very serious sort of challenge to us. I believe efforts from the United Nations, from the developed world, from the G, whatever it is, hasn't been quite adequate. You know, if you see Russia resisting in some resolutions, some countries abstaining and things like that, it's a clear indication that the world hasn't targeted collectively to fight this canker. And I believe this is the time for everybody on the globe to be worried, to look at how this violence can be stopped and stopped forever. I mean, this can degenerate into other issues that I don't think will be good. We need to beef up security across everywhere, irrespective of where you are. I don't think they have a clear target of where they want to hit. It can be anywhere, and we must also be careful to see how we can also beef up our security against all these things. When it happens this way, a lot of things get disrupted. And I believe France will not be the only country that will be so much affected. We may have Ghanaian citizens even amongst those who are dead.
Yeah.
If not Ghanaians, Africans close to us, especially the Francophonie in West Africa, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. We have relatives in these countries as well.
It's been disturbing if you have
Mali,
friends there also.
definitely,
throughout
yes.
the night you're trying to check, where they
there,
were, particularly that they located various places. It didn't happen at one point.
It's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate.
Yes. Kweku.
What else can I add? I associate myself with what has been said here. It only means that perhaps the world should wake up. It's not easy to battle this kind of, terrorism. It's not easy at all. Indiscriminate violence being perpetrated by, I would say, a bunch of lunatics. It's difficult. It's not a conventional type of war. And so it's really difficult. It needs the world to come together. The risks of saying, my emphasis is still on them. Those who perpetrate this kind of indiscriminate violence and mass murder. Even some of their own friends, relatives, and things could be victims of that particular act. Sometimes some of them try to bring religion in. Some of the victims themselves come from the religion they claim to be part of, So it's really difficult. And it doesn't make sense. It's mindless.
Right. For those of you who have the benefit of the television pictures, you can see how the rescuers were going about assembling all the bodies, putting them in ambulances. Very terrifying, horrifying situation there. And I'm joined on the line by a Ghanaian who is right there, locked up in his room. As you know, that it's an emergency situation. A curfew has been declared, and people are unable to move out. Well, if they want to, will they move out in the first place? Nanaya Preko, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Samson.
Okay, so tell me, where exactly are you?
I am somewhere called Port de Pantin. Paris is surrounded by what they call in French ports, which means gates. So each of such ports have some names. They are just around, they circle around Paris like that, and I'm around one of them at the moment. That's where I stay anytime I'm in France. I'm in Paris.
Okay.
Port de Pantin, yeah.
Did you happen to hear any of the explosions at all?
Incidentally, I didn't get to hear any of the explosions, but then it happened just at the time I had entered my house, and I had put on my TV. I was listening to, actually watching the news, France 24, and then there was a breaking news item. And then we started hearing. So just there were told there had been an attack, and they couldn't give out any figures. And about a minute later, they started counting numbers, and we started counting throughout the night like that. We started hearing sirens all over, police, ambulances all over. So obviously you couldn't sleep again. You had to stay awake and follow events. Right.
The CNN so far has reported about 153, but the official figures, as the president is telling us, is that it's 120. Is that correct?
Yes. In France, that is what we have. In France, we have 120 around That's how they put it, around 120. So it isn't very far from 120 people dead at the moment.
And you can't move out of your house today?
No, you can move. You can move out of your house. Out of the bars. I was preparing to talk to you. As Joe indicated, you wanted to talk to me. I wanted to have a feel of what the outside looked like so that I could give you a fair picture.
Okay.
So I stepped out a little. Now, you could see buses moving, transportation moving, all right. But then a bus that stops and you see maybe 20 to 30 people getting out at a time. This time round, you see the bus stopping and you have only about 2 to 3 people getting out. People aren't coming out of their houses. And you don't hear movement of vehicles in the streets. You don't see people up and down. And a few people you would see are probably those who have gathered and they are talking about what has happened. Some had signals, because just about 4 days ago, we heard in the media, we had the news that an attack on a French naval base had been foiled by the security agencies. So people were happy that they were on top of the game,
Right.
And so we knew things like that were going on, and they were trying to handle them.
Can I say that you live in fear now?
Absolutely, something, because for instance, where I live, I share my apartment with my neighbor. What happened in the night, a son about 24, 25-year-old man had gone out in the evening and he hadn't come out. So I was waiting for the old lady to wake up this morning, and then I will tell her if she could check up on the son. So as early as about 6:37, I went and knocked on her door. She woke up. I told her, "Can you send a text message to the gentleman, find out if he's talking?" And she sent the text. The boy wasn't responding, and we were all, basically waiting to hear what he would say. And eventually, about an hour later, he sent us a text that he was okay. They got at home with his friends before the whole thing started. Now, just walk down the street. Where I live, down the ground floor is occupied by a comedian, a very popular French comedian. And he saw me. He was telling me his friends were at Bataclan, the cinema hall that they took hostage. His friends were there, and fortunately for him, almost all of them had gone home safely. But he was scared till he started hearing from them one after the other. So basically, something you don't know where the next one may come from, because if you look at their transportation system here, people easily converge, people easily gather. You get a metro that stops and about 300 people to 400 people are coming out at a time. And the nature this attack took, it's something different. We are hearing of suicide bombers.
Yeah, because we are told that out of the 8 attackers, seven of them sort of blew themselves up.
Yeah. So imagine something. Imagine them getting into buses and metros and trains and things like that. Actually, when I got to a bus station around my area, that is what people were talking about. The few who were there,
okay.
That is basically what they were talking about. On my walk back home, there is a popular market on Saturday mornings. I passed by. You could see a few people who had come to display their wares, and people weren't on the market buying. Most people were indoors.
Okay.
And just as yesterday, where I live, there are some Jewish schools around, about 2 blocks away from where I live. 2 Jewish schools. And based on the dynamics of what is going on, we have security men, military men stationed in front of these schools almost all the time when the students are there. On Fridays, they don't come to school because of Sabbath. And so the military men don't come. But they said I went to a grocery shop. On my way back, when I was passing by, when I was going there, they weren't there, the military men weren't there. But on my way back, I saw their vehicles stationed in front of the school. And this time around, they weren't standing. They weren't positioned like their normal way of standing and their rifles on their chest all the time. But they were visibly combing through vehicles.
Okay.
in front of the school.
Okay.
So
Obviously, this
like,
means that we're going to have a lot of tightened security everywhere at the airport.
Around 2 in the afternoon. So I asked myself, what is happening today?
Okay.
Then I walked by, got home, opened my computer. Then I saw a news item that in the afternoon, a Liverpool player who plays for the French, German national team, Emre Can, had been evacuated from his hotel because of a bomb scare. So putting those two situations together, I realized, no, something is going on somewhere.
All right.
Only for me to hear what has happened in the night.
Nana, we wish you well. Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Nana Yao Preko speaking to us there and telling us, giving us firsthand what he sees going on right now in Paris. And as you read the news, you hear that at least 120 people are said to have been slaughtered and another 200 injured, of which 80 seriously. Police, in a series of coordinated attacks last night, a gunman reportedly shouted, "It's for Syria," and "Allahu Akbar," the Arabic for God is great, before slaughtering around 100 music fans at a concert hall, and then several other locations were also attacked. Thank you very much. Bad news to wake up to, but let's all pray with our friends. Let's come back home and look at the issues that have been tabled for discussion. And first of all, very briefly, what is going on in the NPP now? Briefly about the development. The party's leaders met and there was a vote of 70 people as against 6 abstentions and 1 dissension to confirm Afoko's suspension. And we understand that even after all of this, he is likely to now hit the courts in a very proper way to challenge what is going on. We have heard those within the party who are also against what is going on. Sammy Crab, a second vice chairperson, he says he will never attend any meeting convened by Freddie Blay, who is now the acting chair.
Well, let me just talk about Sammy Crab's pronouncement. For me, it's unfortunate. It's a demonstration of disrespect for party structures and discipline on his part. I wouldn't say much about that. It is true, the party has reaffirmed whatever proposals had come earlier. I'm not surprised about that at all. The parliamentary caucus met, and the arguments were not like, was it good or a bad thing? We just met to uphold what body in the party had come up with, and were expecting that same sentiment will go even at the National Council after the petition. Going to court is individual prerogative, and I believe if he has any merit, the courts will decide on that, and the party will know how to deal with whatever pronouncement comes from the court. But we believe there should be something done in the party. things couldn't go on the way they were going. After close to about 1.5 years of people coming into office, and I mean the entire executive, and we couldn't see any strategic plan.
The party has been in turmoil since the Congress in 2013 in Tamale.
So it was incumbent on the national executive that we had appointed to try to weather the storm so that they can have a very peaceful platform to work with. But then when they even came in, it looks like the things deepened. The challenges we had even deepened. You know, we went to Tamale on the basis of unity. We knew there were fractures and factions in our party. And some people campaigned on the basis that we want unity. And let us try to see identifiable groups in the party and put them together. You see, everybody knew Sir John was like an Anadu person, right? But we said, no, we want to put other people in there. So if Sir John has misbehaved and we are not interested in him, don't let us go and say Sir John is Anadu, so we should by all means bring Sir John. That is simple. We knew who Afoko was. We knew where Afoko belonged. But for party unity, we said, let us put ourselves together. But then we bring you in, and you are the only people who could have stopped what was going on there.
Do you really think, sincerely, would you say that his appeal to the council, National Council, was properly considered?
I don't want to comment on some of these matters, whether it's proper or not. You see, you live in a family, and families have family heads. In my culture, Amanakan, you don't challenge pronouncement from the palace or any. When you are younger, they will tell you that when the elderly person says this, you should show respect and don't try to disrespect what authority is.
But that's not what you have in a political party.
That is not what
the
you have in a
Constitution says
party.
has to have, what do you call it, characteristics of internal democracy.
Exactly. So you don't go out making pronouncements, right? When something happens, the party also has structures and processes and procedures. So why don't we follow these things to seek redress if we feel cheated or if we feel that something bad had been done to us? You know, so these are some of the things that we all have to interrogate, to look at whether this will have been there or not. You see, I'm not very interested in what is good or what is bad at this stage. We should have a collective objective. We need peace in our party to run. And therefore, if the disciplinary committee comes with proposals that was accepted by NEC, and then we say that this is what we should do to go forward with, you know, I don't think that we should be so, how do I call, adamant to what elders in the party will actually talk about. If you look at the composition of those who made those decisions, you don't want to tell me that they were fools at all, at all. You wouldn't know what input went into their final decision. And therefore, we didn't have much options.
But I'm going to shortly. I'm going to play just a small sound of the council, you know, affirming the decision to suspend Afoko. Yes. I'm going to play it to you shortly. But my question really was to ask you: did you expect that this body would have done anything differently, and that they were predisposed to be impartial about considering his appeal?
I don't think so at all. I didn't think that there was going to be any reversal. You see, the National Council itself, it's not constituted by people from other groupings. The National Executive, the NEC, disciplinary committee members, parliamentarians, some few other outsiders. So the constitution of it, right, may have come with the decision had been made by some people who are also members of the council. And therefore, if you make a decision at a lower level.
But at each level, the number grows.
Yes, definitely, yes. So it gets expanded. So, and therefore, you will find that.
Well, you have said that you didn't expect that
they
would do anything differently, and somehow that the decision was known even before he went to the appeal. So why did you call on him to appeal anyway? Now let's listen to the confirmation of the suspension, and then I will speak to Abraham Amaliba.
The National Council took the decision to reaffirm the decision of NEC to indefinitely suspend Mr. Paul Awentame Afoko. The decision was by voting. There was 1 dissenting, 6 abstentions, and 70 votes in favor of the motion to affirm. By so doing, the first vice chairman, Mr. Freddie Blay, will act. So he remains the acting chairman of the New Patriotic Party.
Abraham, he certainly is contemplating going to court. You think that he should do this?
I think with the decision of the National Council over, it now opens the way for him to pursue the matter to its logical conclusion. He raised some 14 points in his petition. I'm not sure the National Council dealt with each one on their merit. What you see is a decision whether to revoke the suspension or to confirm the suspension. You do not see any attempt to want to address each of the points that he has raised. Having said that, I think that if he actually believes in those points that he raised, that there have been some breaches in the Constitution, the only place he can get a remedy is in the courts.
You said he raised the 14 points. The official documentations, processes as far as the appeal is concerned that I have, I read about 8 grounds of appeal or so. Among them are no ruling on preliminary objections on lack of jurisdiction that were raised in the earlier situation, real likelihood of bias, illegal National Executive Committee meeting, illegal member of the disciplinary committee, that is Gifty Kusi. Also, that the disciplinary committee lacked a quorum. The National Council of Elders lacked capacity to petition the disciplinary committee. There was lack of fair trial. The jurisdiction of the disciplinary committee was never invoked. Indefinite suspension is tantamount to removal. And these are what you say they didn't pay attention to.
They didn't address each of them. And when you heard the announcement, nowhere did they say that on the issue of, say, likelihood of bias, the committee found out there wasn't any of that nature. On the issue of some others that you mentioned, so we needed to see a committee that would respond to those allegations. These were absent, clearly showing that they were not interested in the merits of his petition, but they were interested in other matters, which is, should we affirm him, should we affirm the earlier decision, or we should confirm or revoke it?
Okay.
Now, I even see that the National Council has increased the punishment of Afoko. Because the earlier decision was that he should step aside until 2016. Now they are saying till thy kingdom come, he has been suspended.
The earlier decision, as I understand, was indefinite suspension.
No, the earlier one was until after 2016. This one is saying that indefinitely. So that could be till thy kingdom come.
What difference does it make?
It makes a difference. 2016, you have a year. Till thy kingdom comes.
The National Council meets again and says that, come back.
Yeah, so I'm saying that comparing the two, one is time bound, the other is not.
And from my understanding, what has happened, it is only Congress that can decide otherwise, not the Council any longer.
Fine. So
and Congress is organized when?
I wouldn't know the next Congress.
Yes, so it is, they have increased his punishment from my understanding of the whole thing. But you see, this goes way back, because Afoko is one personality that the Akufo-Addo camp has disliked for a very long time. You are talking about Tamale, no? It goes back to when they had their Congress in Legon, where he was attacked apparently for alleged giving of money to vote against Nana Akufo-Addo. They have never forgiven him till this day that they got him out. don't forget that when he picked his form, there was also some hullabaloo, you know, an attempt to, he had the shortest period to campaign, and yet he won, meaning that he was popular with the people. But there was a cabal within the MPP that said that we will not make this guy work. They've achieved their aim. They've gotten him out. The way is now clear for him to go to court and make it also unpalatable for them to also govern their own party. I can foresee some injunctions here and there, writs coming and some injunctions being thrown, trying to stop some processes within the party. So we are in for a long, drawn-out legal battle. And yesterday I heard his lawyer saying that once he couldn't get justice within the party, I think he will get justice in court.
Interesting. Kweku, what do you say about these developments now, and whether or not you think Afoko has a place in the party at all after this?
Well, I haven't heard the lawyers suggest they are going to court. I'm sorry, I've been out of space for a while.
I've spoken to some of them
but
in
if they intend to do so,
they certainly will.
Yes, they are right.
Unless they change their minds.
No, it's legitimate. Why not? In principle, I'm for that. Because after all, they are not going to take up sticks and knives to fight. They are going to a legitimate forum to vindicate their case as far as they think. So we should encourage them. But you see, from the purely political angle, he's lost the war. What is left is some small battles for him to fight. It won't end up in any victory for him. It's clear, because of his own posture and conduct from day one. Okay? You had been suspended by an appropriate body of the party. You say you don't agree, but you went out there posing as party chairman, going to put on EC tag and talking to journalists that you are here in your capacity as party chairman, when you knew that your status was that of a suspended national chairman. Okay? People go on a demonstration. That's their right. But of course, an inappropriate cure for the particular ailment they were talking about. You issue a statement praising them. You knew after all you were going to actually activate the internal mechanism to contest the decision of the National Executive Committee, which was based on a recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee. So all those earlier cowboy type of tactics didn't really build a critical mass of sympathy for him. He miscalculated politically.
From what you know, was this appeal considered on its merits?
Well, I don't know much about that, but he should go to court. That's why I said I really don't mind whether he's going to court or not. The party met. 70 people voted to sustain the decision of the National Executive Council.
A council of 120.
Yes. What stopped the rest from coming? And did it have a quorum? Strictly speaking, that's the legal point. Did they have a quorum?
Because the quorum is supposed to be, is it 40 or so?
Yes, so if they had a quorum, the question of some others didn't show up is immaterial, because nobody stopped them from coming. There was no restraining order on any other member who is qualified to sit in the National Council from coming.
But there are those who say they feel intimidated, and they are being hounded simply because they are speaking their mind, exercising their democratic right of dissent.
Otiko Jaba spoke and voted against the decision.
And nothing happened to
What happened to her? Nothing. I mean, let's not people seek refuge in this kind of thing in order, when they don't want to exercise their right. You have a right to exercise. Those 70 or so people who went there, you couldn't join them. In fact, you don't even dignify that particular point that we were scared so we didn't go to exercise our right. Otiko Jaba, great woman, was there to exercise her right and spoke her mind.
Is there no evidence that people are being suspended left, right, center simply because they are speaking against these things?
Who are being suspended? Right
now, even Sami Krab, who is the second vice chairman, is speaking against this, and he's come up for notice that he might also come up for punishment.
My brother, please, if you are in a political party and a decision of that nature has been taken by appropriate organs of the party, and the second vice chairman is talking the way he's talking, nobody should call him to order, or nobody should initiate processes relative to his conduct or misconduct. Is that what you are suggesting? This is not some, backyard school club. It's not a debating club. This is a political party. Okay? No.
But not in the debating club. You should be brought in line.
But I don't want to dignify. I don't want to dignify his with any serious commentary, because it is like a debating club. Some school, when we're in school, we're doing some of these small things at the backyard and shouting at it. This is, I don't want to dignify it. I'm even surprised that people are giving it any credence. Those who want to cure that mischief should proceed using the party's internal mechanisms to cure that mischief.
Interesting. Ronaldin, do you hear, for example, Kweku Agyeman-Manu sort of seek to whittle down the value of the essentials of this democracy that we have gained for ourselves through our forebears and the rest? The president on his Facebook page has been talking about what this should mean to us. It doesn't look like it means much to him, that for as long as you come in, you ought to respect a certain system of using the traditional setup as an analogy.
I don't think so. I don't think that I quite agree with Agyeman-Manu. For me, the NPP has not handled this particular problem very well. Yes, probably Afoko did things that he should not have done. He went against party rules and the likes. But as chairman who had been elected at the Congress, they deserve to have at least listened also to his side of the story.
They did. He refused to appear.
But you see, but the thing is that you had already, from the very onset, like Amalema said, he had problems even getting to be chairman. There was already a divide. You understand? So he comes in as chairman. He wants to at least feel like, I have got this position and I must stamp my authority. So he starts doing things that you think is not right. Fine. But then you see, what I am worried about is just this, I call it a fragile democracy that we are enjoying, because somehow we are all like sitting on tenterhooks, looking at the way things are going in this country now, corruption, everything else. When I heard that he was going to that meeting, I knew that it was just going for the sake of going. It was already a done deal. You listen to the media, and he had already been crucified in the media. They had already taken sides. You know, he had already been found guilty, even before he had actually been given the opportunity to voice whatever he had to say. So
I don't see where the media comes in.
No, there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype in the media.
And how did that influence the decision?
By all means it would, because we had leading members of the NPP actually speak that he had done wrong, he should be punished, he had to go,
you mean
and all
leading
that.
members of NPP? That's different from the media.
Yeah, but they went on the media and they all started hyping.
Okay, then draw the distinction.
They all went there and they all started hyping. For me, what is left for Afoko to do are two things. Cut his losses, sit back, and let this thing just go its natural way. That's it. Or go to the courts. After all, the courts are there for us to take such situations and such issues. He has an opportunity now to at least find some form, redeem a bit of his self-esteem and respect because of the way he's been washed out there. As an irresponsible, person, disrespectful.
So you are saying what?
Proud.
He should give up.
There are two options.
He should give in and give up.
Yeah,
or what?
there are two options. He can either decide, and that's the way I would want him to go, and say, look, forget it. Let NPP go ahead with whatever and take my suspension. I'll sit back and watch whatever is going to happen. Come 2016, let's see what's going to happen. Because you see, the first instance was you are on suspension till 2016. That was the first one that I heard. And I asked myself, just assuming the NPP wins, what happens? He comes back as chairman to a winning party? Is that what you're trying to tell us? I don't think it's going to happen. You understand? It is not going to happen. Then now the second one, after they had gone to sit back again and listen, apparently, to his grievances or to his appeal, then they come out and say, indefinitely. He's been let out to go. This time, 2016 was not mentioned. So in actual fact, like my brother said, they had punished him enough and they added some more to it. So if it's me, I'll go back. I'll just let sleeping dogs lie. They want to have their party. Let them take it as it is. You see, for me, coming from, sometimes we don't want to speak about it, but hey.
I think we should set the record straight. Let's get exactly what was said. The disciplinary committee recommended that he should be suspended indefinitely.
That's right.
Is that not what the disciplinary committee recommendation?
Was that the first one? Was that the first one or the second?
There's never been a change.
No, because what I read.
Yes, because I'm hearing for the first time. I'm hearing for the first time the time limit to 2016.
That's what I read.
Let's be precise.
Okay, hold on.
Let's check what the records say.
Let Kweku read. Let Kweku read. I have a copy here. Kweku, go ahead.
Not what the media reports. You should check what the party itself said.
Kweku, let's set the record straight quickly.
It's here. No, but the issue, the public statement.
What document is that?
Hold on, that's the recommendation.
This is the recommendation.
It said
we hereby recommend to the National Executive Committee of NPP to suspend Chairman Afoko indefinitely. This is what the disciplinary. Now, this is the statement Akomia issued. NPP suspends Mr. Paul Afoko as national chairman. Okay, and it goes on to say that on the 21st October 2015, the National Disciplinary Committee of the New Patriotic Party submitted a report to the Executive Committee of the NPP, recommending the indefinite suspension of Mr. Paul Afoko as national chairman. At its meetings today, Friday, 23rd February 2015, October 2015, the National Executive Committee unanimously endorsed the recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee. By the decision of the NEC, Mr. Paul Afoko is suspended indefinitely from the position of the national chairman of NPP.
Right. And when,
what are we talking about? This is the record.
When his lawyers put in his appeal, sorry, I think it's
it was signed by Nana Akomia.
Yes.
It's here, but I picked this on the
Abraham.
Is this
Abraham?
You want me to give you the original?
Hold on. Just 1 second. We need to move on.
This is the official stand.
When he sent his appeal, this is what his lawyers said in the appeal. The 23rd October NEC decision suspending the national chairman indefinitely,
of course,
contained in a letter signed by Mr. Obri Boahin, contravened Article 4, 4C, and 10 of the NPP Constitution. So I think that all along it's been indefinite suspension without a timeline.
It's saying that
in the media.
Yeah, I heard that for the first time from the two of you.
Yes,
right. Thank you very much.
Media report.
Even yesterday, I was at a program with another MPP person, and she did say that 2016. Later on, it came to that.
All those people are not speaking to the facts as exhibited on the letter that suspended him.
But even if you say 2016, for me it is a bit vague.
Thank you. Now we can move on and then go to deal with the other matters. But I wanted to ask you. Yes. I've heard some of you say he should sit back quietly and then join the campaign and do some work. Is there really a place in the party for him?
Why not? There's no place in the party.
People go to prison and they get parole.
No, it feels like he's hated.
By who?
He gets a unanimous decision by the disciplinary committee.
Yes.
And then it goes to NEC. There is a unanimous decision again to confirm the suspension. Then it comes to...
It's a demonstration of us telling him
it comes to the apex body, and there is a 70, 70 against 6.
Is that hatred? Is that hatred?
The 6 abstentions, there were very serious people there.
But the question is that...
Including Nana Akomia...
No.
Nana Akomia said he abstained.
No. The 6 absent, those who abstained, as far as I know, which I picked from the grapevine, is Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, Isaac Osei, the Humenya is the voter regional secretary, the BA regional chairman. The name is here, I've forgotten. That's 5. What's the name?
Asmach.
Then there's a 5th one. There's a 6th one. It just slipped me. I'll check.
It might be Akomia himself.
No. Akomia wasn't part of the absentees. By those who abstained.
Akufo-Addo abstained.
I heard you suggest that he abstained.
It's strategic.
I see.
Because it was
you see, I found it significant. The general secretary, the substantive general secretary of the party, then conveyed the decision to the public. Okay, that's a party working. The substantive general secretary.
There's a petition
against
all those. But those two will be asked. Who is above disciplinary proceedings? Who? You tell me who.
All right.
Even the elected president can be impeached by parliament through the due process.
A statement after his suspension, the earlier one,
yes,
supporting the suspension.
He says people should respect it.
Yes, supporting.
And what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's the support. So he had already voted earlier on.
You are a lawyer. You are a good lawyer.
That must have fed into what is happening.
You are a very good lawyer.
I'm saying that must have fed into what is happening.
What are we having? We're having Afoko's people against Afoko's people.
This is the first time.
That's how it is now. That's how we see it out there.
Where you can see that nobody can stop you.
Yes.
We are not in the party. That's how we see it.
No, that one
because he has publicly supported Afoko.
Yes. Don't forget that he also has his head on the line. The two of them are twins in the MPP.
So he can't stand for principle. Is that what you're saying?
They have been accused for similar acts.
Okay.
Now
why didn't he vote
we know
Right.
that very soon they are coming to him.
Why didn't he vote
So
the way
he must also be
voted?
strategic.
Ask yourself, why didn't he vote the way Otiko
Thank you.
voted?
I take a quick break here. We'll return to deal with the matters of Martin Amidu and versus Anas Arameya Anas. Interesting. A friend of mine says when catchers of thieves begin to fight among themselves, then the thieves throw a party. We'll be right back.